Hi guys, this is Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto here in Japan, and we're taking a look at this auction purchase of a 1987 Land Cruiser FRP top. This one's the 70 series, and it's got the 3.4 liter turbo diesel inline 6-cylinder. The vehicle's been modified pretty heavily, and I'll go over the auction sheet, go over the condition of the vehicle inside and outside, and then this one here is going to be shipped off to the USA. Okay, first things first. The engine on it starts up just fine, runs perfectly. Really nothing that I can tell you about the engine other than it works out well. These engines, both the 3.4 and the 4.2 and the 4 liter, all the Land Cruiser engines are really reliable, and so we haven't really had too many problems. Head gaskets are a thing to watch out for, so make sure that when the car lands you change the coolant system. Make sure that everything's flushed out properly, and it should be fine. This one has the dual batteries here, runs a 24 volt electrical system. Okay, now I'm going to lower the hood and I'm going to turn off the engine because diesel engines are so noisy I have to shout while I'm doing the review, and I don't want to have to do that. So let's switch this off. Okay, and where can I put the camera? Right down here. Okay, just a sec. Okay, there we go. So, first off, I'll go over the auction sheet. Now, this one here is a car that we bought from auction, and the auction sheet mentions an awful lot of rust on the car. We were able to get this for a lucky price, and actually it has a couple of things that are really nice to have on a car that you get for this low. Before we get into the auction sheet, I just want to show you the sills here are rusty. You can see there it's been taped over, so there's more rust underneath there. It's not really a big problem to repair the rust that's in that area because it's fairly flat. It's underneath the curve of the body. It's on both sides. You can see it's got a side pipe exhaust here, so whoever drove it last thought it was cool. Actually, it is really cool to have a side pipe exhaust. I sound like I'm making fun of it, but I think that it's really awesome. And the frame underneath has some rust. I'll get more into that in detail because the auction sheet mentions everything on it. And so the auction sheet's way up here. This is actually higher than my head, so I have to hold the camera over my head here. So 1987 Land Cruiser LX Turbo, and this one here is a grade 3 modified. Of course it's modified because it has body and suspension lift, and grade 3 most likely because of the rust that's on the car. Okay, 175 kilometers, which is actually pretty low, and this one's a 5-speed manual. So we actually got a really lucky configuration with this one, because not only did we get the 5-speed manual, but these early ones, pre-1990, the diff locks that come on them is the cable style. And so you pull these, the cables go down here directly into the diffs and lock and unlock. And Land Cruiser people love these cable lockers way more than the electronic ones that came in the 90s. The only problem is most sellers don't really understand how valuable those cable lockers are, and so they generally don't write them on the auction sheet. This one here says diff lock, and you have to have known that the cables were the ones that was used during this year. Only about, well, I'd say probably about 5 to 10% of these early models had the cable lockers, because I imagine they were a pretty expensive option for Toyota to put into the cars, and it's not really useful for most people unless you're actually going to go off-road in the truck. So yeah, anyways, this is original. It says on here original white, but the FRP top I don't think came in this white color, but I don't know. If you know Land Cruisers better than me, then let me know. Okay, aftermarket wheels, aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket bumper, suspension. The engine's a 13B and it has diff lock on here, but they don't mention the cables. Now, here's the thing, is actually we get quite a few requests for cable lockers. If you're buying from auction, you probably can't find them with the cables unless you get lucky like we did in this case. If you really need the cable lockers, you need to buy one from a dealer that has the interior picture. You're looking for these things here. If it doesn't have the cables, and it has the electronic one. It's got a switch that goes right here that you turn on and off for electronic lockers. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go back to the sheet. Pardon me. Okay, modified registration on here because it's a body lift, and it's a one number vehicle. What that means is the registration was set to a special kind that you can get cheaper registration on the car, and then you only have to do it for 1 year instead of the regular 2. And the reason why people do that is because the one number has more lenient requirements for what you need in order to pass, and certain things like a car like this would probably only pass under a 1 number registration instead of your standard like 8 number is specialty, but a lot of 4x4s are registered as 8 number. Power window doesn't work. You can see here it's actually on the other side too. And condition here. Okay, interior dirty and scratched, seat wear and ripped. Headlight, it says something about the headlights, but I can't read it. They are an aftermarket headlight. You can see here they're the H4 style with the running light lamp in the bottom. Oh, cracked. That's probably what it is. That's a shame, but headlights are an easy fix. Okay, underside surface rust and corrosion holes. Now, we already did the report on this. Paul actually did the report, and that one's going to have a detailed explanation of the rust on the car, and so I'm not going to get into it in too much detail for this one. Exterior has surface rust and rust holes. Power steering doesn't work properly, which is funny because I just pulled it out. It didn't seem that bad to me. Everything seemed to be fine. If the power steering doesn't work well and you're running on really big tires like these, then usually, you get a lot of sound from the power steering pump, or you get really heavy steering. It felt okay to me. Kind of strange. AC doesn't work. Bed has scratches and dents. Headliner's ripped. Carpet's missing. Interior liner is cracked. Various scratches and dents, and then you see here on the body, you can see the C3 means heavy rust, so it's on both sides at the sills, and then you also have C2 in the back and C3 in the hatch area. And so the sheet doesn't paint a good picture of the car. Luckily, we were able to get this one for a really nice price. In fact, I thought that this one would probably go for more than we ended up bidding on it, so I was a little bit surprised. And then to find out that it actually does have the cable lockers was a really nice little bonus. It's not easy to find these with the 5-speed manual transmission either, and so it's cool. The funny thing about these, especially when you use a wide-angle lens like I'm using at the moment, is the truck doesn't actually look that big until you see it in person. It's quite a bit taller than I am. Like I said, my head only goes up to the bottom of the windshield. Okay, so there's your once around. Let's look at a couple of details. So front bumper has been changed here. You can see it's a mini size bumper, which is good because it gives you full clearance for your 4x4 tires, so nothing's sticking out here. You can see it's got the body lift, which looks like it's about 3.5 inches or so, and then you also have a shackle lift here, and so you're looking at I don't know what the original height for these are, but I think it's about this much, so you got another 2 inches or so there, and looks like aftermarket shocks on there as well. The reason why people like the 70 series is because you get leaf suspension and solid front and rear axles, and so very good for 4x4ing. It's got the stock steering damper in there, and they've got pretty tough differentials that unless you put a 350 in there and run a ton of power through it, they're pretty reliable. Okay, looks like headlight is cracked there. Snorkel, and it says Land Cruiser on it right here, so it looks like it's an official part. Leaf. It is really bright. Actually, I'm shooting this video at before 9 in the morning because I've got a meeting at 10. Alright, the tires are... It's weird, the tires aren't written in the typical way an oversized tire is, like a 33, 35. It's actually written in the way that standard tires are, so it's a 315, 75, 16. And I don't know my conversion very well, but I believe that's a 35 by 12.5. The wheels are really cool aftermarket wheel. They look like a beadlock wheel, but they aren't. And then you have manual locking hubs here. Now because you have the diff lock, you can actually run a true four-wheel drive system. And so I bet you this thing is quite capable off-road, especially with the short wheelbase. The 7D series comes with either 2-door or 4-door, and this one here is the shorter version, the 4-door. Looks like the tires barely fit inside the guards. And here's your rust on the back corner. Some more here and here. And the rear mount spare tire has been removed with some bolts put back into it. Okay, let's take a look at the trunk here. Diesel and turbo. And aftermarket taillights. Okay, that door's a little bit stiff. Okay, carpet's been removed from the inside here. Small rip in the liner. Okay, cigarette burn in the back of the seat, and this seat flips down and against the back seats to give you a full, almost pickup truck size bed here. Maybe a short body. And rear bumper has also been changed over, or no, it's not. No rear bumper on it, but just a tow hook has been attached onto the frame here. And so this part here is actually part of the original frame. I believe you may need to put on a bumper on the car to make it legal, depending on the state it's going to. Okay, the FRP top here, that's made out of fiberglass instead of the metal that's down here. You can also get them in hard top metal, like full metal top. The FRP is, I don't know which one people like more. I like both of them. Okay, so we have power windows in here. The door card is actually in good shape. Nice thing about the 7D door cards is they don't have padding up here, and that usually gets damaged and ripped in the 60s and the 80s pretty easily. Seats say turbo on them because everybody wants to know how fast you're actually not capable of going in this car. The seat's really neat. It's a sprung seat. You can see it has kind of like that scissor in there. And so this is cool. You set how heavy you are with this. Only up to 100 kilograms though. And then it gives you some bounce in the seat. A lot of them don't work actually that I've seen, and it could be that this just needs to be oiled out and stuff like that. Ripping the seat. Steering wheel is the original one. Oh, and this, look, there's no side step here. Instead there's an exhaust, so make sure that you don't burn yourself, and if you want to step in, you have to have a big step to get up here. And so there's no handle on right here where there usually is one in order to help you get in, so you either have to hold on up here. There is a handle. Oh, that one's been removed too, but there's one on the passenger side. So gonna get up here. Wow. Okay, so we have a light here for your diff locks. The engine revs up to about 3,500, 4,000 because it's diesel. 140, 207 kilometers on there. Steering wheel seems to be in good shape for the original one. It has a little bit of some damage on the side here. This one here is really cool. It shows you your inside-outside temperature and how high you are. So you can see how high you can get your truck. It can be like a little game. Aftermarket CD player, AC. Ah, check this out. Pachinko coins. That's neat. Okay, now it is a 24-volt electrical system, and this is something that you'll see in some of these trucks. 24 converted to 12-volt system, and this one here just allows you to use 12-volt accessories if you want to. And so we're actually going to take this and then send it to the buyer so that it doesn't get stolen. Okay, the 5-speed is nice and strong. The Land Cruiser transmissions are, I think, similar to the Toyota pickup transmissions, but they feel much different than a car one. They're very chunky, feel very good and strong when you shift into the gears. So, good. 4 high and 4 low. 2 high and 4 low, pardon me. Transfer case here. Alright, I love how the dashboard's actually made out of metal. Cool. Okay, completely flat windshield is cool. Rip. 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 Okay. Okay, gonna jump down here. Alright, and that's going to be the end of the walk around here. And actually this one at 15 minutes is quite a bit longer than the usual walk around, so pardon me if you made it this far into the video. Thank you for watching that long. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the video, and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section if you want. You can check out our website. The link for that is in the description of the video. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice day.